Teenagers, what huge life decision were you coerced into making? My mom killed my little brother because they both died during childbirth. One day she was talking about how excited she was for our family to grow. The next, I was crying in the hospital chair beside her lifeless body. The lawyer who handled the hospital liability paperwork was this woman named Sandra, whose hand kept lingering on my dad's shoulder, whispering that everything would be okay. I thought it was weird how she already knew his name was Michael and not Mr. Davidson, like all the other hospital staff called him. But I was 17 and had just lost my mom, so I didn't think much about it at the time. Dad married Sandra 6 months later. I remember sitting in my art history class when he texted me about proposing to her. All I could think about was how mom would never get to see me become an art curator just like her, and now dad was replacing her like she was nothing. Sandra moved in right away and started redecorating everything. She took down mom's vintage gallery posters from the front porch because they were unprofessional for a lawyer's home. She replaced mom's sculpture garden with some sterile modern landscaping. Dad just nodded along whenever she suggested changes like he was sleepwalking through life. The first time Sandra mentioned law school was when she was packing up mom's art books for donation. She held up mom's annotated copy of Ways of Seeing and said, "You know, Nathan, you'd make such a brilliant lawyer, just like me. It's such a prestigious career." I just took the book from her hands and went to my room. Dad followed me and grabbed my wrist hard enough to leave marks. "You need to respect your stepmother," he said in this quiet voice that scared me more than yelling. That was when I realized it wasn't just my mom who died that day. The man who I thought was my dad had died too. Things got worse after that. Dad would blow up over nothing, like when I left paintbrushes soaking or came home 5 minutes late from school. Sandra would stand behind him during these lectures with this little smile plastered on her face. She started intercepting my mail and monitoring my phone for my own good because I seemed unfocused. I threw myself into my portfolio and art classes. It was the only thing that felt real anymore. Mr. Rodriguez helped me enter this statewide art competition, and I created pieces about grief and loss and finding beauty when everyone wants you to see only facts. When I won regionals, Sandra's face went cold. "Art doesn't pay the bills," she said over dinner. "Law does." The acceptance letters started coming in March. I'd applied to 8 schools with amazing art programs, but somehow never saw a single envelope. Then my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, knocked on our door, holding a stack of mail that had been delivered to her house by mistake. All my acceptances, including a full ride to my dream school. I confronted them that night and found out Sandra had been deleting my emails from colleges and submitting law school applications in my name. Dad broke my laptop when I refused to consider her career choice, slammed it against the wall while screaming about ungrateful sons. Sandra just sat there reviewing case files. That's when I started digging into mom's death. Something Mr. Rodriguez said about mom being so healthy during her pregnancy kept nagging at me. I requested the medical records and found weird gaps in the timeline and medication doses that didn't make sense. Then I found Dad's old credit card statements in the garage showing hotel charges from 8 months before mom died. Hotels he'd gone to with Sandra. Everything came to a head on my 18th birthday. I'd gathered all my evidence, including a journal mom had hidden where she wrote about her suspicions about Sandra. I announced at my birthday dinner with all our relatives that I knew about the affair. I showed them the proof while Sandra tried to claim I was having a mental breakdown. But the worst part came when I was packing for college the next week. I needed my birth certificate for some forms and found it in Dad's filing cabinet. Right there under father was a name I'd never seen before. Marcus Williams. Some guy mom dated before meeting Dad. Suddenly Dad's coldness made sense. But then I found something else in Sandra's home office while looking for stamps. A medical license. Sandra wasn't just a lawyer. She was also a licensed physician who'd let her medical license 5 years ago, right around when she started working at the hospital where mom died. Full story on channel, link below.